Let me guess, you're probably sitting there wondering how we at Free Movie School got so good at analyzing movies, hoping maybe you could pick up on some of those skills yourself one day. Well, call us a genie, because your wish is about to come true. Today we're going to give away 3 top-secret tips and tricks of how to make quality, eye-popping film criticism free of charge.
No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
So that you can be one step closer to becoming a professional movie critic and impressing both your friends.
So long, boys!
Okay, let's dive right in. When analyzing a movie, there is one simple question you should ask yourself. Is this movie good or bad? Believe it or not, it's actually that easy.
Oh, okay.
These are the only 2 options that exist, just like with people. We all have practice with this skill because even outside of the movie world, aka IRL, we go around categorizing people into good and bad all the time.
He's vile and cruel, and you're just pathetic.
Think about it this way. A person like Big Bird falls into the good person category because he's tall and friendly, whereas someone like the Count is a bad person because he is a cold-blooded vampire. Some people are quicker to categorize than others. For instance, it's obvious that President Trump is bad, but what about Lord Voldemort? As we determined in our previous video, trying to assess the morality of you-know-who, he's probably bad too. In contrast, Mufasa is a good person because he returned to Pride Rock to save his kingdom, even though everybody thought he was dead.
The king has returned.
And King Cusco is a bad person because he tricked everyone with llama disguise.
Demon llama!
Basically, the same reasoning applies to movies.
Why aren't you all copying this down?
Part of the logic behind this rule is that we honestly can't think of any other categories movies could fall into. And if you decide something falls in a gray area between those categories, people will think you are too weird to decide on one simple choice.
Whoa.
It's like if we asked someone at a restaurant to choose between lasagna noodle and spaghetti noodle, and they chose fusilli noodle.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
It's like that wasn't even an option.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
And like we told this customer, nobody knows how to make fusilli noodle because they're too confusing and nuanced.
Good riddance, you loony!
In other words, as a movie critic, if you fall in anywhere in between all the way good and all the way bad, your audience will get confused about which side you're on anyway and turn off the TV.
You're sort of confusing me, so,
Let's try it out with the movies we've reviewed so far on Free Movie School. The Lion King is a bad movie because we never learn what happens to the little lion named Simba, who disappears halfway through and is replaced by his dad.
Talk about your fixer-upper.
Next up, Harry Potter is a good movie because it makes you think about tough questions like whether or not it was ethically wrong for the Dark Lord to kill Harry Potter's parents.
This is really good!
An Emperor's New Groove is a good movie because it has Kronk in it.
Alright.
Star Wars is a bad movie because Anakin dies in the lava and it is too sad to finish watching.
I can't watch anymore.
And lastly, Pitch Perfect is a bad movie because it turns out the Barnyard Bellas are dirty, rotten fakes. See, pretty simple. Now let's test it out with another movie we haven't reviewed yet, Inception by Christopher Robin. We haven't seen this one, but you can already tell from the trailer which of the 2 main categories it's going to fall into. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yep, this movie is a good movie because Oscar-winning celebrity Leonardo da Vinci is in it.
I have it under control.
Now, every time I see someone on the web accidentally call Inception one of the bad movies,
What?
I'm going to correct their mistake by telling them it's actually one of the good movies. Which brings us to our second tip. The easiest way to tell whether a movie is bad is called scouting for mistakes. Imagine that a movie is like a tower of buttered noodles stacked on top of each other. One tiny mistake and the whole tower comes crashing down. Therefore, a good movie critic has to do the noble work of being constantly on the lookout for the smallest of mess-ups, errors, and sins, because whoever topples the tower wins, just like in Jenga. Spotted a boom mic in the frame, a change of clothes between takes, a plot hole, or in other words, something that doesn't make sense or you're just straight up confused about? Well, good job, because the rest of the movie doesn't matter anymore and should be thrown in the garbage as quickly as possible. Unfortunately for filmmakers, there's no room to make a slip-up in this vicious industry, or else your whole movie will be exposed for the trash that it is by smart, educated critics like you and me. Let's try it out with an example. In the movie Toy Stories, toys only come alive when there are no humans around, and when a human comes to town, they all have to fall down and pretend like they're dead. But there's one glaring mistake that only eagle-eyed critics will catch.
I can't tell.
Did you see it? We'll show you again.
I can't tell.
Rookie mistake. There's a human standing right there. Her name is Bo Peep, and even though there's a human female shepherd in their midst, the toys are still walking around and talking, instead of pretending to be dead corpses on the ground. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Turns out this beloved classic is not good movie after all, but actually bad movie. Which brings us to our last and final tip. In film criticism, there is only one correct point of view at a given time. You just have to be smart enough to know what it is. Movies aren't like science, where scientists can argue for hours and hours and never figure out the truth. Like, is global warming real or not? Nobody can figure it out because the ice god is the only one who knows.
Oh my god, this is a travesty.
Similarly, my math teacher always comes up with different answers than I do on my homework, and it doesn't mean one of us is wrong. It's just a difference of opinion that results in some pretty bad grades. But with movies, the exact opposite is true. Some movies are just plain good, and some movies are just plain bad, and there's nothing me or you or the ice god can do to change it.
Excellent.
The dictionary word for this is objective, which basically just means the people who disagree with you are wrong. For instance, one time while buying noodles at Whole Foods, I let someone know that their favorite movie, The Lady Bird by Greta Garbo, is actually one of the bad movies, because the main character can't even fly like a bird or fight crimes. They tried to argue with me, but all of their arguments failed because they were just plain weird. At the end of the day, The Lady Bird is an objectively bad movie, and the reason is obvious. It's not that exciting, and Lady Bird's not even that much of a superhero. On the other hand, Batman is a good movie because he has flying powers that are pretty cool to see. Plus, there's a better balance of action mixed in with the talking, not to mention an amusing clown for comic relief.
Why so serious?
Sadly, for all of you Saoirse Ronan fans out there, these are objective facts that no one can dispute, not even Mike Tyson.
Sorry to bust your bubble.
Now that we've let you in on all 3 of our industry secrets free of charge, it's time to try it out for yourself. So what are you waiting for? Pick up a movie at your local supermarket, pop it in your VCR, keep your eyes open as wide as you can, and watch closely while remembering our 3 hot tips. Every movie is either good or bad, tiny mistakes give away that a movie is bad, and there's only one correct answer. Then tell your neighbors what you figured out and let us know how that goes in the comment boxes below. Well, movie maniacs, that's all for today.
Farewell.
If you learned something from this video, be sure to share it with your teachers for extra credit. And as always, thanks for your loyalty.